Good, everybody. You here with your man G, Sound Spotlight Season 3. We here at the Compound, Miami. And today, I'm with super producer Neri Boiii.
Neri?
What's good, my boy?
What up, bro?
So, we've been loading up to this for a while. We locked in.
Yeah.
Tell the people your story, man. Tell the people about you.
Man, it's been a crazy journey. So I'm Josh Neri. Neri is actually my name. I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida.
Right.
And I've been in Miami for like 7-8 years. Before that, I was in DC. So I've been, a couple different places, but I felt like when I got here, it felt like a place I wanted to really.
Felt like home.
Yeah. Music's been something that's been a part of my life for a long time. But for a long time, it was like, it wasn't really like at the forefront. It was like kind of something I just kind of did because I loved it, but it wasn't like, I didn't see how it would be something I would do to like sustain myself or make a life out of it. And, like in the past year, really, like I really said, you know what, let me try this. Let me see if I put it as like the most important thing in my life, if, something will come of it. So, it's kind of been a transition through all these different phases. Like, growing up, for me, sports was like the biggest thing in my life, probably till I was like 25. So I grew up, I played basketball in high school, I played basketball in college. I got out of college and I would do like pro-ams, semi-pro stuff, and then I went to grad school. I did sports all through school, college. Even when I got done, I was still like pursuing like amateur stuff. And then I went to grad school and I was thinking like, I'm gonna make a career out of, at the time I was doing mental health. So I went and got my master's for forensic psychology in DC, and that was a part of my life for like 5 years. And all the while, I always played piano. I always was like obsessed with it, learning whatever new song was out, learning how to play it on the piano and doing my own rendition of it.
So you were always a musician?
I picked up the keys when I was like freshman in college. So it wasn't like a kid doing it. But when I got to college, I don't know, it just was something I just kind of had an interest in or curiosity in, and then I learned I was able to watch people's hands and I could like mimic what they would do. So that was literally all I would do. I just watch people play and I could like pick up the basics of what their hands did. And then that turned into like putting a song on the radio. Because this is before like you could stream a song. You either had to have the CD or you put the radio on. So you had the radio on, you try and learn whatever song was playing. So then I learned I was really ear training myself. Didn't know it, but I could like figure out the chords for whatever song was on the radio. And then it just continued to grow and evolve. And then I tried out for this jazz band at my college. So again, I'm going in there, I don't know nothing about no jazz.
Just trying out.
I'm just literally trying to figure out what they doing. I'm ear training, trying to figure out what they doing and play with them. So we get to the end of like the first rehearsal and the conductor comes over to me. He's like, because they give us like the sheet music to the songs to play. He's like, you have no idea what any of this means, do you? I'm like, no, I absolutely not. I have no idea. No idea what any of this sheet music means. And he was like, well, show up tomorrow at my office, 3 o'clock. So show up the next day, and the conductor was a pianist himself. So man, he just started teaching me chords and like what a E minor ninth was. And so I started realizing like why the stuff I played, why I liked how it sounded. And so I almost like learned reverse theory. So I was like, oh, this is a minor chord. Oh, this is, you know, a major 7 with a flatted 5th. Like I learned all these things that I knew in my ear and my hands what sounded good.
Just because he showed up,
yeah,
the opportunity presented itself.
Yes, man. So like I went, somebody offered a hand, and I took it, and then I just ran with it. So then like music after that point, like music just became kind of different. It was like it became easier, like because I still don't read music, but like if you tell me a chord, you know, I can.
You know enough.
Yeah.
You was in school full time.
Yeah.
Now fast forward to now.
Yeah.
Got your own spot.
Yeah.
Producing full time, music full time. What was that transition like?
So like I always could play keys. I do like open mics around the city. You remember like I would perform with artists and stuff. And so I started getting booked as like a session musician. So really like I had a session with Tory Lanez, and I'm working with his producers, and I'm like, man, I think I should like just learn these programs they producing on, because I know the music and I'm giving like the, you know, a lot of the melodic stuff that they're doing. So I was like, let me just learn this program. So that was when I really decided to like take producing serious and like actually learn it, because it's one thing to know music or to be a musician, it's another thing to produce. It's so much, it's almost like it's a whole other entity. Like this helps,
yeah,
but it's like two separate entities. So then I started producing. I started like working with a lot of local artists and stuff. And maybe like a year and a half ago, you know, I was just getting a lot of opportunities that I couldn't take advantage of because I was working. I had a 9 to 5. I had to be in bed a certain time. I had to be up a certain time. And
schedule was tight.
Yeah, and when you do music, it's like somebody might just call, and you gotta go.
Pop up.
And sometimes sessions don't even really be sessions. Like I go to sessions and it's just guys playing Fortnite. You feel me? But you kind of have to be there in case like somebody wants to start working.
The opportunity presents itself.
And you building that relationship, even though you're not even doing music, they start to feel comfortable with you. So you gotta like, you have to be able to like have a schedule that allows you to do that. So I kept having all these opportunities I was missing, and I had signed with management at that time, and I just really like decided, hey, I'm gonna take a leap of faith, jump out there, and just started like, yeah, just really like, it was really a leap of faith.
Once you made that transition, what was the first notable opportunity for you?
To be real, I don't know what my first notable opportunity was, but I know that when I made the transition, it was crazy how like opportunities that allowed me to like open up a studio, or to like be able to sustain myself financially started just happening. You know, and I think that was the biggest thing I took away from, like when I jumped out there, it was just like, oh, like I got this that, you know, I can use this money to open the studio, and I got this that I can use this money to live off of, you know. So it was like, it was to me like, I don't know if those were as much notable, right, as much as they were like important.
Definitely milestones in your journey.
Yeah, because like I felt like I had like a 3-month window to figure some shit out once I, you know, decided to do music full time. I didn't know where it was gonna come from, but you know, a couple projects just really put me in a situation to like be stable and be able to pursue like music full time. But like it's been a couple like notable stuff. Like I got to work with Cranium. I think we have some stuff on his album. So I got to work with Stefan Dunn. And that was another situation. It was like, we started working on the song, right? She was at like an Airbnb. We started working on the song. We get like halfway through, we got got like a verse and a hook. And I don't know who said something, but like a topic was brought up, and like we never like it became such a like candid discussion that we never even came back and finished the record. She like one of them people that like now some people real good with dates. Like 1892, they passed it.
That's a fact.
She like one of them people. She like a fact spitter, like dates.
Historian.
Yeah. So you know, it's like this whole candid debate. So we never finished the record. Then she tells us like, I'm gonna cook for y'all tomorrow. So we come back the next day. They got dinner and there's a bunch of people there. Like great networking opportunities. So it's like you never know how this stuff gonna go. Like,
yeah.
And
network.
yeah, but you building that relationship. You building
so
that rapport.
Your network is your net worth, right? That's
exactly.
what they say. So
exactly.
You're proof of that. So I believe you mentioned Jim Jones.
Yeah. So we did a record, DYFL, Jim Jones, Scare Money. We actually did the record at my crib. We did pretty much D's whole project at my house. He would just come. I would just start building from scratch, and D's very fast, like writes very fast, so and I produce fast, so it's like records just get knocked out quick. And so we had this Scare Money record that we loved, and everybody played it for it. I thought it was really dope. And then D had a relationship with Jim from like Vamp Life that he did here, and reached out to Jim and his relationship with him, he just did it off the string. So that dropped, I think, in January.
It's a pretty big feature.
It's a big feature, dog. So I've been able to get a couple things. I had King Hoodie had a record with Earth Gang that I produced. So
yeah, like, King Hoodie's really fire, man. Shout out to King Hoodie.
Shout out to King Hoodie. So had some opportunities to like get in with some people that, I grew up listening to and I still listen to. So.
We know how you got to where you at,
yeah.
But we didn't talk about who influenced you musically. So what's some of your biggest musical influences?
I always say like my biggest influence is Devontae Swing. Okay. It's like one of my favorite producers. Produced for Jodeci and a bunch of other people. But I think like his tree, to me, like if you look at the Devontae Swing basement tree of like Timberland, Missy, Aaliyah.
Those are some of my favorite.
Yeah.
Too.
What's Buddy name that just went viral for the dance? He did Pony. What's his name? Gene One. Like his whole tree.
So 90s R&B.
Yeah, man. And then the people that they spawn.
Definitely.
Their trees. It's kind of crazy how much influence this man had, and he only had like a 4 or 5 year run as a producer, and even out the game.
Sometimes it's all it takes.
Yeah, so he's like a huge influence for me. I feel like, of course, Pharrell is like one of the GOATs right now. Right now, like the two producers I love right now is Hit Boy and D-Mile. I think, man, like D-Mile is just out of here right now. The way he's doing with R&B, Hit Boy is just everywhere, doing everything, and he can do so many different things from boom bap to trap to hip hop and R&B. Like, I just love what they doing. I kind of see what they doing, and I'm trying to like mimic, how I move behind, like how I see them move.
Okay. So you're studying their production.
Studying their production, and studying how.
You remain a studio at the game.
Yeah, man. And studying how like they move, because if you look at like Hit Boy, like he's doing like all the Nas projects, and then you see him doing the Game project, and he just kind of like he's built up these relationships with artists that like they just when they get with him, they just want to lock in, and I feel like that's what I try to do too, is to not just be emailing beats to people, which you have to do, but
it's part of it.
Yeah, but like if I can get in with you and like really know what you're looking for and be able to give you that and build it with you, like I like
organic relationship.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly. So I feel like those are like my biggest influences.
That's a fact. So musically, you've been doing it for a little while now. Who do you feel like your sound go well with, or what artists would you like to work with?
Well, I feel like my shit go well with everybody.
Okay.
I feel like that's one thing. So it's funny because a lot of people they'll be like, oh, they know me through like King Hoodie, so they know like the hip hop shit. But then a lot of people know like I play keys, and they'll be like, oh, this the keyboard player, you know, and they'll like put me in that R&B keyboard player box. But I like to like do everything. Like I work on Caribbean stuff, hip hop stuff, trap stuff, R&B. I like to really be like, I don't like to just do one thing. You know, it's like it's some producers they just do trap beats, and some producers just do soul beats. But I like to do all that shit. And I feel like when I go to make a beat, it's really like a reflection of my mood. And my mood don't always be the same. Like I'm not always feeling dark. I'm not always feeling turned up. I'm not always feeling like
we're humans.
yeah.
It's
So
a way of different things.
yeah, so I feel like that's kind of like a reflection of how I make my music too. It's just a lot of different stuff. But who I want to work with?
What artists do you want to work with?
Yeah, I wouldn't even say like, I would flip it. I wouldn't even say like what artists I want to work with. I would say like what producers I want to work with.
Okay.
Because I feel like I get more, I really feel like I get more inspired when I hear like other producers doing like crazy shit. I'm like, man, I love to get in. So like, the D-Mile is like a producer I would love to just work with. All of the like, the ghosts from the 90s, like the Teddy Rileys and the Baby Faces. You know, when you look back at the technology they had 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and realize what these guys were doing, like, it's so easy now to make a beat.
So easy, bro.
Like anybody can get a loop and line up some drums, but when you look at
sounds
like
from across the world in minutes, it's different, man.
yeah, but when you look at like the machines these guys were working on and the level and quality they were putting out, it's like it's crazy. I seen this interview Teddy Riley did. He said the first Guy album, he couldn't get the quantizer to line everything up how he wanted to, so he played every instrument the whole way through. Like not on a loop, like 3 minutes of the snare, 3 minutes of the kick. Like think about that, and just like how talented you have to be able to like deliver that.
Right. Keep the timing.
Everything.
Play all the instruments.
Everything, and not be off once.
Right.
You know, it's inspiring. Like I would love to just work with those guys, and just take that in and have that experience.
100%. With that being said, any upcoming projects or projects, new release currently out?
Yeah, we got Ronnie BOP's new project's gonna be coming out very soon. David Lynn's project.
Is he working right now?
Yeah, David here working right now. His project is done, so that should be coming soon. Shanetta always got new music with her. DYFL, like we did a whole project, so be on the lookout for about 8-9 records coming out with him. Man, I don't know what else. Like, I feel like it's so much sometimes. I just be forgetting. Like sometimes I get hit and they be like, oh, we got this song coming out, and I like forget I even did the record. Because some of this stuff is so like delayed gratification. Like you did this beat 2 years ago, this song a year ago, and then you get the work. Like it's coming out on my project.
So let's talk about that work for entrepreneurs and aspiring producers. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of young people that watch my channel. So it's like, you said you got records 2 years ago. I'm sure even longer than that. I'm sure some of the tracks you produced 5 years ago. But you keep going, you always network, you always booked, right? I remember when I first met you, Shanetta had a show, and I do remember seeing you again at Smoke Signals with King Hoodie. I didn't see you so many times throughout the year, but you always working. And you see me because I'm always working. So what's some advice you have for the upcoming entrepreneur, upcoming producer?
Yeah, I feel like no matter what, no matter like what you're doing, what lane you in, you gotta love it. You feel me? Like if you don't love it for like the real reason, like the real reason of it, like you don't love music, this industry's so shitty, dog, and you gotta go through so much shit. Getting paid is hard. Like if you really don't love music, it's gonna snatch it away from you. Like if you're doing it for clout or you're doing it because you think you might get on it, like it ain't gonna work because it's too many tests. So I feel like I look at music kind of like how I look at the gym. Like I don't tell myself, oh, I don't really even think like, oh, I need to go to the gym today. It's just kind of like, I know I'm gonna carve out like at least 45 minutes to do something in a day. That's just how I've always been.
Right.
And I feel like music for me is like a reflection of that. It's like something I just kind of do. I don't gotta even at this point discipline myself to do it because I'm always gonna find my way to do something kind of creative that day.
Just out of the love of it.
Yeah, so I say that to say, like, find something you're passionate about and that you would do for free, you know, like no financial gain, and like hone in on that and don't ever lose focus on like what it is that you love about whatever that craft is. And as long, I forget the saying, as long as you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life, you know. And that's a real saying. So, but you gotta be disciplined enough to do it consistently. The second you're not consistent, and out of sight is out of mind. So, just staying consistent. I tell like new producers or aspiring producers, I tell them, work with artists. Don't worry about getting paid for beats. Don't worry about getting ripped off. Don't worry about nobody stealing your shit. It's gonna happen.
Right. Don't move out of fear.
Yeah, don't move out of fear, dog. Just get with as many artists as you can that will rap or sing on your beats, and just give them the songs and let them put it out. Because I feel like that was one of the turning points in my career. Was I would hold on to beats because I wanted. I thought I was gonna have some chance encounter with,
same deal.
You know, Jay-Z,
right. Holding on to the good stuff.
Holding on to this stuff, but like really, you're gonna get to that point because when they hear you kind of like level up, like you work with this artist, next artist here, you keep moving to a different tier of different artists. So just work with as many people as you can. Especially, I like local because I feel like I can see the traction.
Definitely.
So like get with people that are around you.
The area.
Yeah.
Become a part of what's going on.
Yes, and it's tough. Like people not gonna take you serious if they never heard of you. But you just gotta keep trying, because once one door opens, you get in there and you solidify yourself, another one gonna open from that. And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at. Is I feel like I'm starting to get to a point with people that are into like independent music in South Florida. Might have heard of some stuff I've done before, and maybe that leads to somebody that has a better situation saying, let's give him a shot, or I want something that he got, and that's kind of where it is. So I would definitely say like, just work with as many people as you can, work with other producers, like collaborate, and don't be afraid to invest into yourself. Like being in this industry, you always gotta be buying new stuff.
Definitely.
Always new equipment.
Budget, man.
Yeah, and so like, don't be afraid to like invest into what is gonna make you sound good. Because a lot of the difference between me playing a C major chord on like some crazy pad that I bought versus you playing it on like a stock sound, it might be a huge difference.
Huge difference.
So, don't be afraid to like invest into sounds and invest into like a good laptop and all that stuff.
That's in your growth. You gotta continue to grow, right?
Yeah.
As you do before.
Yeah. And it'll come back, like you'll get all that money back.
Definitely.
So that would be my advice.
100. Sound Spotlight Season 3, Neri Boiii. I got the game right now. So Neri, give me your social media.
Make sure y'all follow me, Neri, Neri, Boiii, Boiii, 4 I's.
Compound Miami, tap in with my boys, Sound Spotlight. See y'all in the next one.